What's happening, people? We're back, we're live, and it's Lee Judges TV, myself and Lee, and we thought we'd have a chat with you guys about yesterday. I am absolutely shattered. I ain't stopped, and I feel like emotionally drained. I've had a busy day, and I've got a busy night. Lee, how are you, mate?
I'm absolutely shattered. Like, I got in about 2 o'clock last night, 2 o'clock in the morning, couldn't sleep. But obviously, like, we had to wait around for about an hour and a half because it was a monsoon. It was unbelievable coming out there. The rain, I've never seen nothing like it in my life. You know what I mean? 10 minutes earlier, we'd be travelling back up there on a Tuesday night because that game would have been called off. The pitch was flooded then. I've never seen nothing like it. It was absolutely water all over the pitch. It was incredible. This bloody team, I don't know how the players are feeling, but it was draining yesterday. It was draining. I'm going to be really honest. I don't know how you felt about it. I didn't think we played well. I didn't think we was at our best, but maybe that was because circumstances and everything like that. But I don't think we was holding on like we was probably at Spurs. But like those last couple of away games now, Spurs and Man United, it took its toll down. Like, it took its toll. If I had here, I'd have lost it by now. I'll tell you, like, you know what I mean? Unbelievable. A real pressure. And then you sort of like on that high of it all, and then, you come down. I don't know how you was. We was talking about he was confident and everything like that, which I was. And then the day of the game, I got bloody nervous again. I was nervous all through the game. And then once it's over, I'm now, I don't know how I'm going to feel tomorrow, if I'll be honest, whether it's just forget about it or not. But, whatever happens then, Sunday, we go there knowing that we have a chance. I don't know at this moment how much of a chance, but we have a chance of winning the league, mate. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we've got to the last day. We're going to take it to the final day, and all eyes are going to be on Tuesday, which we'll come on to in a minute. Before we do that, let's talk about the game. I was watching with the lads at AFTV, and I was like, disappointed. Why am I disappointed? It shouldn't matter, but I am, because I really thought they were there for the taking. I thought it was going to be... I went for a 4-0 because I was so confident that when Palace put 4 past them, seen Brighton and Bournemouth and all these guys put like 4s and 3s and 4s past them. And I thought, we get chances, we're going to score. First few minutes, we looked to the better team. And when we got that goal, we played like we did it against Man City and Liverpool. It was like, that'll do us, sit back, let them have the ball, let them come on to us. They ain't going to do nothing with it. Let them try and break us down. It's going to take them all night. They can still be there now. They're not going to score. And if I'm honest with you, Lee, I thought the quality was poor. If I'm honest, it's one of the worst Arsenal Man United games I've seen in a long time. But I suppose it don't matter, does it? It don't matter because we got the job done. 3 points is what matters. And you take result over performance all day long. What I will say, though, I look at it and I think that Manchester United club, not just team and manager and board, the whole club is a mess, mate.
Unbelievable.
I looked at that pitch. I looked at the stadium. It's pissing through the roof. Apparently, it's not just that roof. It's the whole stadium. It's just crumbling down. You've got a bunch of players there that are now being kind of targeted. 17, 18, 19-year-old players that are trying to carry a team the size of Manchester United. Højlund, poor. Garnacho, not great. Mainu, probably one of their better players, but not great. And they're all looking at those 3 players. Those are the 3 players that should not be carrying Manchester United. They should be helped. They should not be in the first team. They should not be playing week in, week out. But they are. You've got a manager who's got absolutely zero understanding of what the hell's going on. There's no telepathy on the pitch between the players and him. And I just thought it was a mess. And when I look at a player like Casemiro, who, by the way, if he is quicker, we don't win yesterday's game, right? But my goodness, I looked at that team and it is unrecognisable for the one that we went head-to-head with Fergie and Wenger. I look at the days when we went head-to-head with them, the rivalry was insane. But I never saw anything like that. And I'm going to say it. When we went through the crap, when Wenger left and when Emery was with us and he was trying to take us over, I don't remember us being as bad as this week. I don't remember Arsenal being as bad as Man United are now. And maybe we were. Maybe we were blind by the time. Maybe we were as bad. Maybe it was the same stuff that's happening. But I felt like there was more hope when when someone would come in and take over Arsenal, that they might actually be able to progress. Manchester United, there's so much to do. It's an absolute mess. We didn't have a stadium falling down. We had toxicity, but it wasn't in the same way throughout. I look at Manchester United, they kind of need to break everything down and start again from scratch. Like they need to crash the stadium down and build another one. They need to get rid of the manager. They need a new board. They need a new playing staff. 90% of their team needs to go. I'm not even joking when I say 9-0, not 1-9, 90% of their club, their players need to go. Shockingly bad. There's probably 5 or 6 you'd keep. And one of them getting in the Arsenal side.
No, exactly that.
That's a worry if I'm Man United. I'm looking at Arsenal, who aren't even winning anything yet, and I'm thinking none of these players are good enough to even get in the Arsenal side, let alone Man City. So I look at Man United yesterday and I just think that is a very sorry team, feeling sorry for itself. Players, from what Rooney's saying, aren't interested in playing, faking injuries because they don't want to play in that game. They want to try and get the game in the FA Cup. It is a mess, and I'm kind of here for it, Lee. I kind of like it. Like, I'm happy because I can't stand the club. But if I was a Manchester United fan, I don't know where I'd turn. And honestly, I'll ask you, do you think we were this bad when we were 8th and down in the dark? I don't think we were. I really don't think we were, bruv.
There are similarities. There is similarities. We had young players carrying us. If you look back at it, Saka, Smith Rowe, at the end of it, but we did have a bit of experience in there. Our stadium wasn't falling apart. I have to say, yesterday in there, Dan, when that rain was coming down, it was dodged the drops because it was 1 minute it was hitting you, and then you had to move across. And I see Martin Keown having to dodge it as well, like, you know what I mean. And it was unbelievable, like, you know what I mean. And the stadium needs redoing.
Yeah.
But the greatest point that you made, and I'll be really honest, even in Arsenal's darkest days, I think 1 or 2 Arsenal players could have got in a Man United team or whatever. I wouldn't take one Man United player at this moment in time. I'll be really honest, I wouldn't. Where would you go in there? Like, I thought there was a little bit of spirit with them yesterday. I think like the likes of McTominay worked very, very hard, and Dalot played very, very well, and but they're not better than what we've got. Then we've got better players than them, like, you know. And we didn't have the best of games yesterday. As far as do I enjoy what you know, I don't like Man United. There's something about their fans that I don't like. There's some fans that, you know what I mean, like Saeed, and you know the ones that I know I like, you know. But there's an horrible, arrogant side of Man United fans as well, and I see a little bit of it yesterday, like, you know. So I don't feel sorry for them one iota. I don't, you know what I mean. Julian come up with a point, you know what I mean. Alex Ferguson made a deal with the devil years ago, like, you know, and it's now reaping its rewards, you know what I mean, coming back to him, like. And I quite like what he was saying, and I understand what he's saying. And if there's, you know, hopefully that'll happen to Manchester City as well, like, you know. I will say this. I do think going up there yesterday, on the Saturday, and they're there in their droves. It's a massive, massive football club, you know what I mean? Like, even as poor as they are, filling out that stadium, it was packed again yesterday. With Arsenal, there was a little bit of a drop off of fans, if I'll be honest, but they was there in their droves yesterday, like, and on the Saturday before the game, you know, doing the stadium tour and all that, like. I don't know what they're actually doing on the stadium tour. I see six of them going in there with a cement mixer. I don't know what they were doing with that, like, you know. But if you know, listen, Man United have been fantastic football club over the years, and they still are. It is an institution. I'll give you that. But it's nice to see them where they are at this moment in time. I remember, Dan, like, was it 2 years? I can't remember where it was. We was about 8th, and they were mocking us You know what I mean? Like, by the way, they haven't won nothing for the title for 10 years. I'm not going to say, oh, enjoy it down there in 8th, enjoy it there and everything like that. Well, I hope you're enjoying it now, so. And I think the biggest compliment I can give us, Dan, is that this is Manchester United at home in front of 70,000 fans. They played a very negative team. I don't mean like in a nasty way. They put 3 midfielders in the holding midfielders to stop our midfield, which they did do, by the way. But it stifled us. So it was all like realistically to stifle us, stop us playing. And you're right, what you say. Was you disappointed with the 1-0? I think I was, if I'd be really honest, the way I see in the team and everything
100%.
like that. But someone put it into perspective to me when we was going into the game. He said, I've been coming here 16 years. I ain't seen a league win in 16 years. And I went, bloody hell, yeah. He went, when was the last time you see a win up here? I said, I wasn't at the Adebayor one. I wasn't at because I was playing. The one when we won with the Mark Overmars one, I was still playing football. I was still playing when we won those games then.
Mate, I've never seen us win there. So I wasn't there for Overmars. I wasn't there for Will Tord. I wasn't there for Adebayor. Obviously, I wasn't there during COVID. So I wasn't there yesterday. So maybe I should just stay away. Because
Do you remember that cup fight? That cup, I'll never forget, not cup fight. When we beat them with Will Tord, that was going to be on a Tuesday. No, it was a Wednesday night. And I've been invited. I've got a box up there. We was going up there on the Tuesday, on the Wednesday morning, staying up Wednesday night, all arranged. One of my mates worked for Carlsberg at the time and sorted it all out. And was going up there for a. I thought, oh, what a great day, And we had a cup final on the Tuesday. It worked out. And I said, the cup finals. They only put the cup final back to the Wednesday. So I had a choice. What do I do? I had to play in the cup final, you know what I mean? And bloody lost the cup final as well. But my dad, God bless him, still come and watch that final and was telling me what was going on with the Arsenal Man United game. So I missed that one, which I would have gone to, So yeah, it's been I can't remember the last time that it would be back in the 90s, I suppose, is the last time that I see us win there.
Yeah, it's a long time. I think
bloody
for me,
long time. So in that perspective, you have to.
It is a long time. I get it. I think the difference is the Man United side was so bad, and I looked at the lineup, Lee, and their bench, and I thought, nah, no excuses today. This has to be comfortable. And it weren't really. I mean, I say it weren't comfortable. It didn't really look like scoring, if I'm honest with you. I didn't think, but at 1-0, nothing's comfortable, is it? Do you know what I mean? When that final whistle went, I was like, relax. Now we'll take the final day. And I honestly believe that Mikel felt that because there was no urgency in that game to win, keep going 3 or 4-0. I saw Erdegaard spin on the ball and drive once. Everything else was backwards. Declan Rice and Thomas Partey were basically centre-backs. I've never seen Partey so deep in all my life. Saka didn't take his man on once. Trossard didn't really have to do too much, to be fair, because he always quietly pops up with a goal. Havertz just stood up there, a bit of a statue, watched it bounce off him a few times. Him and Trossard link up the play once, goal. Since then, nothing else. It was just a bit of a meh game, wasn't it? There was nothing about that game. I thought, wow, he's really on form. Other than one player. And that man, I'm starting to run out of superlatives for how good he is.
He was mate.
Saliba was incredible, mate. For me, player of the match, by far the best man of the match. I love everything about him. And I said this on my fan cam, and I don't think people. I kind of feel I don't know if you feel this, right, with Saliba, but I kind of feel like people have moved on from him now already. I don't know why. It's like, oh yeah, he's a good player, right? Who's next? And it's like, no, this player's not a good player. This player's ridiculous. I have seen some fantastic players, brilliant centre halves, as have yourself. I do have to go back as far as Rio Ferdinand for how good they were at that age. But Rio Ferdinand was trying to prevent West Ham from going down. This guy in his first 2 years has got us into a title. 2 years running, 21 and 22 years old. been one of our best players consistently, and you just wonder if he weren't injured last year, what it would have been like, because he is that importantly. He really is.
Do you know what we were saying that on the way home yesterday? Like, you know, I mean, if he would have stayed fit last season, it would have been interesting to see what would have happened with us, where we would have been. He's not missed a minute of football for us this season, and look where we are, taken into the last game. Best centre half in the league by a country mile, followed by Gabriel, in my opinion. And this season, on everything, like, you know, this season, it's not even in the player of the year award. That's what that means to me. Been that player of the year award's not worth nothing, in my opinion. Like, you know what I mean? If he's not in it, I don't know. And I'm going to say it now. I believe, right? I believe that I don't think I've seen a better centre half at that age. Now, if you go back all the way back to the great centre half, I can't talk about Frank McClintock. Don't really remember Terry Neal. My dad always said Terry Neal was a wonderful central defender. But I'm going to go back to the ones that I've known. David O'Leary was a very, very good central defender at 20, 21 years of age. I do remember him. Tony Adams was nowhere near in the level that Saliba is at his age. Went on and went on and went on. Martin Keown was out to Aston Villa and Everton before he came back and was a sensational central defender for us. Steve Bull was at Stoke. No disrespect to Stoke, but you know where I'm coming from. Like, you know, Rio Ferdinand, you said, was at West Ham. John Terry wasn't as good as Saliba was when he first came into the Chelsea team. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, if you remember, like, he got roasted a few times by. Listen, he was up against Henry at times, but like, you know where I'm coming from.
He couldn't get in ahead of Desai and Leboeuf, could he? When he first
exactly that.
Not that them two were bad, by the way. I'm not saying that.
no. Listen, they're all fantastic central defenders.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Van Dijk was at Celtic and Southampton. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. He's been one of the best central defenders that I've seen. Company, fantastic. But I don't think at that age. At that age, so I'm with you on
Company,
this.
believe it or not, was actually a central defensive midfielder at Anderlecht, and then he turned himself into a decent centre half in the end. But at 21, 22, Company weren't playing at Man City winning titles at centre half. Do you know what I mean?
No, you know. So
you're right, mate. You're absolutely bang on.
It's unbelievable. Now, this is a guy that doesn't get into the French team, like, you know, and I hope that continues. You know, from a negative point of view,
selfish point of view.
But a selfish point for us, you know what I mean? Like, I don't. But what I see something when I first see him, I thought he was sensational. When he's improving all the time, and I thought, like, do you know what I like about him? The bigger the game, the better the game, the better he plays. You know, if you have a look at him, like, he plays. I think when he plays against the big teams, we come up against Haaland. He's man of the match. I think someone said yesterday at Anfield, Manchester City, and Old Trafford, and not Tottenham, but those three, he's been man of the match on all three games. I think he might have even got it against Tottenham as well. I don't think he should have done, but that just shows you what he's like. You know, calm on the ball. So I will say this about Saliba. I think he's a good defender, Dan, but he's also very, very good on the ball. Tony Adams wasn't great on the ball at first, you know. That was something.
I think that's why I compare him to Rio, because Rio was like that at 21, 22. You think, he's good on the ball. But I think with Rio back then, it's hard to compare because his eras as well. But I think Rio back then at West Ham, I think the pressure was less, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get. They went to Leeds after that, where
exactly
a little bit more, and before going, you know, probably went to Manchester United. Maybe in his prime, right in his prime. You know, I don't think 22 is actually in.
Well, he went to Bournemouth on loan, didn't he? When he was at West Ham, he went Bournemouth on loan. Then he went to Leeds. Well, he went back to West Ham and played, and then he went to Leeds. Then Man United. I don't know how old he was when he went to Man United.
Yeah, but you know, so
But that's the only one I can think of that come through the scene at that age where everyone went, whoa, look at this kid. Like that. I haven't remembered another defender like that. There might be them. Like, let me know in the chat if anyone can think of anyone.
Yeah.
But,
and also you have to say, Dan, there's a lot of fans, a lot of people criticising him being on loan here and there. He should have been. I think that was the right thing to do. Get all these the things that weren't quite right. Learn at Marseille. Learn in France for a couple of seasons, and I think that was the perfect thing for him to now to come back and do what he's doing. I think he's been fantastic. And I thought yesterday, and listen, Gabriel ain't far behind him, Dan, as well. I have to say that. I just think he's just a little bit more polished, if you know what I mean, as a defender. But, Haaland never got a kick.
I don't mind that, though, Lee. Like, I don't mind the fact that Gabriel's the monster out of the two. I think you need that. You need a complement of each other. And I'm going to say it. I think Gabriel's been better than Saliba this season. I don't think he's as overall all round. I honestly believe that Gabriel's been better, though, this year. I think defensively, he has been phenomenal. And I think it is actually criminal that he's not up there with this Player of the Year nomination. I think it's criminal that he's not. I really do. I can't believe that he's not, in fact. With the defensive record we've got, it is a madness that Van Dijk is up there and Gabriel isn't, I think. But maybe I'm being biased.
Yeah. No, I don't think you are biased. That defence is, listen, it's a unit that that gets very, very well protected by the two central midfielders and the wide players when we play away from home. That's why we do really, really well. But when it's put on them, they can defend. Do you remember there was times I used to hate Chelsea for that reason? They used to go 1-0 up to, and then it was like John Terry and Cannavaro. Was it Cannavaro? I can't think of his name.
Cannavaro.
Cannavaro at the back. They used to go, right, our turn now. Step aside. This is us now. We will see us through, boys, and defend. And it was like, and then
Terry and Carvalho. Sorry,
Carvalho. Yeah, and then like we'd then watch our team crumble when we went 1-2-0 up, and but it looks like now, like for me, it's like Gabriel, like and Saliba, when they have that little huddle, little drinks break, we won it. Leave it to us now, boys. We'll sort it out. We'll make sure we'll see us home. I love that. It reminds me of the Adams and Vieira and Keown and Petit sort of thing. Like, you know what I mean? We'll see it home, boys. And I love that. I said on my fan cam yesterday, and I know Arsenal, people, I've looked at a few of the comments like, oh, look, we ain't won anything and you're proud of the team and everything like that. This is why we'll never be any good. Like, I get all that, but I'm just proud that everywhere I've travelled this season, I've been not let down only once. And to go to Old Trafford, go to Liverpool, go to Manchester City, go to Spurs, and not come away with that, not beaten, Dan. When in past times I've been dreading it and being beaten 3-4. Yeah. I'm proud to be an Arsenal fan. I'm proud to walk out of that ground yesterday.
And the thing is, you say about that.
Celebrating because of that. For me yesterday, the biggest thing for me yesterday was not that we won that game yesterday. And I've seen people saying I was on TV and celebrating all that. The reason I was so emotional about and happy is because we took it to the last game of the season. That's what, whatever happens, there's, I think someone said, on the Forever, James said it today on Forever, there's going to be a Premier League trophy in our stadium on the last day of the season. We haven't got near that for so long, Dan. Like, you know what I mean? And I don't care what, if we don't do it, we don't do it. But this last 2 seasons, I've been proud of what we've done, and it's been something I never thought we'd see at Arsenal. I never thought we'd be challenging for titles, going head to head. Every little bit of it with a cheating, corrupt club like Manchester City, and still there with them. Like, it's unbelievable, Dan. It's unbelievable.
I mean, you said, like, you're proud of the team, and people have come at you and said, "Oh, what, it won anything yet?" You're gonna get that, mate. Unfortunately, I get sometimes the opposite, where I say, I said yesterday, I'm a little bit disappointed with the way we played yesterday. Don't matter. Look at this negative guy. Don't matter. We won the game. You're always gonna get twats like that, and whatever you get comments wise. I think for me, what you've said, which is bang on, is the unexpected. I never ever thought that we'd be in a title race last year. I never saw that happening.
No,
And that was why I got a lot of respect for Mikel Arteta back, because while I stood with him, I thought
yeah,
we were going to be in a bit of a bad place with him. I really did. I didn't think it was going to happen, mate. 8th, 8th, and then 5th, then a title race was a massive jump. This season, I did put us down finishing second. I didn't agree with the people that said, Arsenal are going to be 4th or 5th this year because they've got the Champions League back. Never agreed with that. One, because I think the rest of the quality is awful in the Premier League. I think it's quite poor, if I'm honest, the state of the Premier League, other than one team. And the team that we're going up against is phenomenal, mate. I mean, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, right? I think it's competitive. Don't get me wrong. That's why people are beating everyone, and you can't bet on games. But I think the quality is actually nowhere near as what it used to be. But I look at it now and I think, how do you get past this Manchester City side? That's the big hurdle. And there's a chance that we still can with a game to go, and that is fair play, because last year we were 6 points off, and this year we're very, very close. So, a lot of people will be asking questions about Mikel Arteta. I was listening to all the fan cams yesterday. I listened to Turkish, who's been on a similar level to me, in my opinion, throughout the last few years. I don't know if you agree with that, but I think me and Turkish,
100%.
Yeah, to how we see the club. And he was apologising yesterday, going, wow, I'm really sorry for the things I've said about Mikel Arteta in the past, because he's totally changed my opinions, etc., etc. And I thought it was interesting to hear him, because he's been very, very sad how it is for the last few years. And I think he can sit and appreciate some of the things you've just been saying, because you were talking there as if, you've got your Arsenal back now. And that's what we all wanted to see for a long, long time, and didn't think we were going to get it, And even under Wenger, when we were winning FA Cups, we never went there believing we had any chance of winning at the likes of the Etihad, Anfield, Old Trafford. And sometimes we were leaving after having to hold 4, 5 or 6 goals, So there definitely has been a huge change. And I think Mikel Arteta has done a really good job. There's always going to be the question mark, can he win something? 100%. And that's not being harsh. That's just a fact. That's just an actual factual question, I think, at the moment. I don't think that's a belief or he ain't going to win nothing, or oh, he will definitely. I think people are just asking, can he get us to cross the line? I bloody hope he can. And if I'm honest with you, I think he's going to. I just think it might be, we might need this season, this summer window, to get a couple more players in, because I wanted to come to this, and I'm going to come to it now. The bench, he just don't trust it, mate. He just don't trust it. I'm sorry. It took him like to, me and Laurie were sat there and he was going, why aren't he making a sub? Why aren't he making a sub? Saka's injured now. I'll better make a sub then. And it's like, just bring them on. But you don't trust them, Lee. Jesus and Martinelli are the only two. He don't want to touch Nelson. He don't want to touch Eddie. He don't want to touch Smith Rowe. He don't want to touch Vieira. Cedric and El Neni, I know they're going anyway, but he don't want to touch them. The only players that he will bring on are Jorginho, Kivior, Tomiyasu, if he's not starting, Trossard, if he's not starting, Havertz, if he's not starting, and then Jesus and Martinelli. That's 7 players, 3 of which are normally starting. So that means he's only really interested in playing 3 subs out of the 9 that he can pick from. And I just think that's what we now got to change in the summer. Those 6 that are sitting there like, I'm ready, Mikel. No, thank you. Need to be, I'm ready, Mikel. Oh, good. On you come. And I think those 5, 6 players that we're looking at, we need to really look at getting. And I think we all know the positions and stuff like that, which we'll come on to in a bit. But I just think I look at that bench and I think, is that a question? Is that a reason? Is it an excuse as to why we might not have been able to get a few more points this season, Lee? And it's a genuine question.
Yeah, I get that. We were saying 10 minutes before Saka come off, and it's not a criticism at Arteta. I'm just saying, which is what we were saying. He looked a little bit tired, looked a bit jaded, but he won't take him off. You know what I mean? Once he had that little knock, I think it was like, all right, yeah, I've got an excuse to take him off now. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and I thought he would come off 10 minutes before it, but I understand it at 1-0. Where do you make the changes? I think someone said to me, I'll bring Jorginho on now. So I said, for who? Who are you going to bring Jorginho on for? Like, you can't really leave, and I get exactly what you're saying when you say, you can't trust the bench and things like that. I get, but also we've got such good players, You know what I mean? Why take them off? You know what I mean? Like, especially at 1-0, you know, I know. So I get what you're saying, but 10, 15 minutes from the end there, you're not going to take Jorginho off for, say, a Rice or a Partey or whatever. And Partey didn't have his best game, by the way, but you're still not going to take him off. Like, you weren't going to swap out Tomiyasu unless he gets injured, by the way, at this moment in time, because he's come back, by the way, and defended fantastic. You know, in fact, he's had a tough running, he has, of players up against him, and he's handled it very, very well. But, so I get that, you know what I mean? Like Martinelli for Trossard for Martinelli just seems the right sort of thing to do. Jesus in there, you know, like I'm saying, you know, bring on Jesus, but you couldn't really take off Havertz yesterday. Havertz was quiet yesterday because he was isolated. But you think to yourself, well, I'm not going to take him off, like, you know. And you're certainly not going to take off one of the central defenders or Ben White. You're not going to do that. So I see what you're saying, but it's very, very hard at this moment, like, you know. So
I just think if you look at it, like, I appreciate what you're saying. It's hard to who comes off, who does that. But I do think that we're at the stage now that where it got quite uncomfortable, not uncomfortable, where it's ruthless to go, we're going to have to either sell someone we really like, or we're going to have to start taking people off that we really like. And it weren't, I think people forget that. Like when we went Invincible, the players that were coming off were quality. Like we were bringing off Pires and like for Reyes, and we were bringing on Carnu for Bergkamp, and we were bringing on Parla for Lundberg and Wiltor and all this. Like people forget that, you know, they think we were like bringing on the young kids that we weren't, mate. You know, Pires and Lundberg were coming off. Do you know what I mean? That is like taking Saka and Martinelli off now. You know what I mean? Like, that is what we were doing though, you know, and I don't think we can do that now. So we've got these 13, 14 players that we're trying to use to win all 4 competitions with. Ain't going to happen. And I just think if we don't trust the Nelsons and all that, that's fine. That's not the issue. We've got to replace them and upgrade upon them in the summer, haven't we? You know?
Yeah, and 100% that's what will happen. I totally agree with that. That's a great point. You know, you are right. Bergkamp used to be a substitute at times.
Yeah.
You know? And the likes of probably, if you look back at those games, Dan, that Perez come off as many times as what's happening with Trossard, even though he was contributing. And as you say, Lundberg, like, you know, Martinelli come on yesterday and for the first time looked more lively than he has done in the past. So, you know, I think he's looking like he's going to get back to him. We need him to get back to his very, very best next season to keep what's going there. But you know, Trossard again has been, you know, fantastic this season because of that. So, listen, the squad needs to be strengthened up a little bit. 2 or 3 players coming in that are going to take those 2 or 3 players that are bench warmers at the moment. If I'll be really honest, that's how it is, you know, and you have to accept that. But yeah, I think that the 14 or 15 is really, really good at the minute. Perhaps now you need to go 17, 18, like, you know. So, listen, it's that's something that they're going to have to do, like, you know. Dan, I think it's going to be difficult because, you know, when you're in second to get the players that are going to get you to first, where actually are we going to be shopping for these players? You know, like, it's going to be really, really difficult. So, I do think we need probably to strengthen in all the areas. One at the back, one in midfield, one up front, in those areas, and obviously, like, you know, under that, a goalkeeper and all that. If we just swap and change a little bit, like, you know. But I think that there's going to have to be upgrades everywhere, like, you know, and I'm pretty sure there will be, like, you know.
Well, I'm with Tanya here. We have a good foundation for a title-winning team. We need to add quality, especially forwards. We need to have 16 to 17 dependable first teamers, and I think that's where Man City.
Yes, that's where the difference is. Yeah,
that is a difference.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
A lot of people, they got a tiny squad, Man City. They've got the smallest squad in the league, I think, Man City, but they've got 20 top-class players, not 15 and then 5 backups. They've got 20 that are all quality, and I think Arsenal are at 14, 15 top-quality players, but we need another 4 or 5 like Man City have got that are going to allow that as well. And I think that is fair. AMT's also said if Pep left after the treble, we win this season. Well, listen, if Pep goes, then that's our massive chance of winning something. That's for sure. I wanted to talk about that a bit quickly because in terms of the few players that we need, because I know we're coming to the end of this season now, but looking forward as we will into the summer. I said this on my show, and I stand by it. I think we can, working out the maths that I have, I think we can probably get between 100 million and 130 to 50 million for the players that we want to sell, because we ain't going to get that much from Lee. Like, we might get a bit of money for Ramsdale. Not going to get an amazing amount for Tavares, Lokonga, Tierney, Marquinhos. Nelson, Eddie and Smith Rowe, you might get a bit. But other than that, you ain't going to get a massive amount. But I honestly would spend, let's say we get given 200 million again, that we were in the summer just gone, which I think we should with the Champions League money and all that. I have absolutely no qualms about spending that on a left 8 and a centre forward. No worries with that whatsoever. Because you're getting a Declan Rice quality player coming in both of those positions, and that sorts your 11 out. And then Havertz and Trossard and Martinelli and Jesus and all that, they become your kind of competition in your squad places then, for me. I think that's brilliant. What I don't want to do is go, right, that 11 that's just come second, don't touch it. Play who you want in midfield. Just pray that Partey's fit. No. Go and get your left 8. Go and get your centre forward and Havertz and Partey and then on the bench. That's what happens for me. Yeah. And they fight it. And it's then you play 5 or 6 games and you rotate it a bit. And then the rest of the money that we get from when we sell Nelsons and all these players that I've just mentioned, that's where you go and start putting your backup players. So you might want to get a defender in. You might want to get a cover for Saka in. You might want to get another creative midfielder in. That kind of position, right? That's what I'm looking at. I think that is a realistic summer. What I don't want to do is go and spend 80 million on a Saka's replacement who don't play because Saka plays most of the time. And then you go, oh, now I ain't really got enough money for a striker. So we'll just get another young kid in and just replace Eddie. And then Havertz can stay up there. Nah, don't want to see that. I want to see everybody fighting for places. I don't want there to be, this is the first 11 and these 11 come in when they're out. I want this to be a proper competition like it is at Man City. So
I agree. You know what I mean? Like for me, if they bring somebody in, I don't know who it's going to be. Like Havertz starts the season. You know what I mean? Like
and you mould him in, yeah.
Like that, and you know you have to wait for your turn. He's earned the right, and a midfield player as well. You know, and you bring him in and you're in and out, and it's not. Then what you've got then is you haven't got. That's my 11.
That's right.
It's 15 or 16 that makes the 11. There's no real. He's guaranteed in. He's guaranteed. I think maybe we've got. If we'll be really honest, and it's not a criticism. I think we've got 8 players that, if fit, will play all the time. Well, we don't want that. You know what I mean? Like we want that down to 3 or 4. You know, and there are times when we should think like, well. Where I think we've probably lost the league is that Aston Villa game because we didn't know how to manage the team between that Champions League game, right? But if you've got the players next time, you know that, right, well, I'm leaving out Odegaard, bringing in so-and-so, and you know you're not dropping down. You know, if you leave out Havertz, it's not dropping down. If you put Havertz in the midfield, you're not doing this and doing that. And that's what we've got to do. And I think that is 2 to 3 players for that money, Dan. That is what you need.
I agree.
And that strengthens the squad all around. And listen, I think it's going to be an exciting summer for us because I don't really know what players we're going to go for, but I trust Arteta and Edu to get the right ones, and that's the exciting thing about it.
Absolutely, man. Listen, we can't finish without talking about tomorrow night. Can Spurs be Spursy tomorrow night and sort us out, or are Man City going to give them a trouncing like most teams at the moment do when it comes to Spurs?
Well, I'm going to be honest now. Like, you know, I've known Regan for a little while. I've obviously known my nephew Max since he was born. Kane, my brother, my relatives that have been Tottenham fans and still are, my mates. We're all together for the first time in a very, very long while. You know, it's not the same with England because I've got not the. Oh, I say like the passion for England. That's the wrong thing. If England win, I'm happy. If they lose, I don't lose no sleep over it. But this means everything to me. Like if Arsenal can win this title, you know. So elite, all the things that have gone on with Tottenham in the past is done. And for all those Spurs fans out there that wanting their team to lose this week, just put it this way and think about this. This is the scenario that you want to happen. You want Liverpool to win today. You then want to beat Manchester City, knowing that the last game you're away to Sheffield United and Villa are away to Crystal Palace. That would make you favourites. And then what you want is Arsenal to buckle under all the pressure of the Everton game and lose. And you've got Champions League football, and you can laugh at Arsenal saying, oh, we done you a favour and you bottled it. That is the scenario that you want. Not singing songs in your concourse about being Manchester City until July, wanting to sing Blue Moon and wearing sky blue underpants or knickers. That is how you support Spurs in the next few days. And that's how the scenario of you want it to happen. Now, from our point of view, we need Spurs to do us a favour. And we need Spurs to be going into that game against Manchester City with something riding on it. So if Aston Villa win tonight, forget about the title. We're Scousers for a day. We don't follow Spurs, but we're with you on the Tuesday. And if you do us a favour, I swear to you now, I will never take the mickey out of Tottenham Hotspur ever again. Because how can I? Because when I say we're the title winners, you can quite rightly turn around to me and say, well, you wouldn't have done it if it weren't the help of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. And you know what? I will hold my hands up and agree. Because you've already took 2 points off them already. If you was to take another 2 points off you, I can't argue with that. And that is how Tottenham fans should be supporting this team, their team. In saying that, they'll probably get stuff for them.
That was a great speech, though, bro. I've got to say.
Thank you.
It was. I enjoyed it. I was captivated. I agree. I think it will be 3-0 Man City. I think it'll be comfortable. And I think it'll be 4-0 Man City at the Etihad when they play West Ham. But I think we'll beat Everton. And I think I've said it for a long time that we'll win all our games and they'll win all their games. And that was why I was so down, Lee, when we lost to Villa.
Yeah, I get that. I was as well.
I think that was what it was. It weren't even the fact that we just lost the game. I've been pissed off when we lost games. I was pissed off we lost to Fulham, pissed off we lost to West Ham. I was gutted when we went out the cups to West Ham and Liverpool. But that one killed me more than anything because I just knew that was it. I just knew. Now we've got to pray, haven't we? We've got to pray that Spurs, and they help us out. We've got to pray that West Ham can do something last day of the season. Antonio's come on a podcast and said, Arsenal win all their games, they'll win the league because we'll take a point off of the Man City at the Etihad and we'll do them. I hope he's right, but I doubt it very, very much. The way West Ham and Spurs are playing, everybody's putting 4s and 5s past them. Yeah, so I think it'll be quite easy for him. Before we get our football prizes up, because they're back again, let's take a quick look into your thoughts on the season. Whatever happens, if we win it, we all know it's elated. Everyone's elated. Everyone's in heaven, right? If we don't win it, which is what people are saying is probably looking likely to happen now, and favourites not to win it. What do you look back at this season? What are you happy with, and what needs to happen to improve next season? Because you can always improve.
Yeah, of course, and I'm happy with the season. I've been to every game this season, and I've come away from it one game very, very disappointed where we didn't deserve to win a game of football. You're going to get games where you hammer teams and it doesn't quite happen. We've all been there, So for me, what I take out of it, the 2 disappointments I take out of it is the Fulham away game. I felt we got what we deserved that day. We was poor. And also that if I'm going to look back, if anybody says to me, what were the games that ruined it for you? You can go on about Fulham at home and all that. You can go on about West Ham at home. But for me personally, what I'd say from it is that game at Fulham, because we didn't deserve anything from it. and the game against Aston Villa, because for the first time, and I don't know how long it was in our hands and only in our hands. It's been in the hands of other teams as well, but we was always with 5 points behind Liverpool. We had to beat Liverpool. Even though we beat Liverpool that day, they were still 2 points in front of us. It wasn't until they lost to Crystal Palace that it was solely in our hands going into that game against Aston Villa. And that was, for me, we cracked. And that is when I go back to whatever happens with Tottenham now, is that could happen at Everton. When the pressure is solely on us, we failed at Villa. Now, are we? If it happens again, are we learning from our mistakes? So that's what I take from it there. What do I improve? It's going to be very, very hard to improve. I think that I don't think we can really improve too much. Maybe City drop a little bit. That gives us the title. I don't know. There's nothing between the two teams, in my opinion. Maybe just a little bit of experience. And dare I say it, and I don't mean this in a critical way to Arteta, maybe Pep. Just got the slight edge and all that, But listen, we go again. That's the thing about it. We are very, very close to winning the title. Dan, and we've been there before under the Wenger years when we lost to Man United by a point or, and then we win again. And that's what we've got to do. Make sure we go again. I remember in 2001 when we was well off of it, and we brought in a Sol Campbell, and we brought in Francis Jeffers, and we brought in some other players. I remember, and you thought, whoa, and we went and won a double. So listen, whatever happens, I'm going here on Sunday. There's a chance that Arsenal can win the league. I've never done that at the Emirates. And how long we've been at the Emirates? So I still think we should enjoy the moment and be proud of what the team is. And I don't care if people say, "Oh, well, you're failing" and all that. I've always moaned and groaned about Arsenal, not for winning the title and all that. All I've ever wanted is for us to be challenging. All through all my time, I've said there's been no divine right to win the title. I've always wanted us, but we should challenge, Dan. And we are challenging. We've got no divine right to win this league. We've got no divine right to win anything. But what we have got a divine right as fans and my thing is to be there challenging. We are there. We are challenging. And look, whatever happens, let's see what happens on Tuesday. But whatever happens, I'll go there on Sunday and we have a chance. And I know that if they beat Spurs on Tuesday night, I know we're not going to win the title. I know that. But we've had a chance. And we took it to the last game, Dan. We could have folded yesterday. We could have folded at Spurs. We could have folded anywhere. But we haven't. And we've kept it going. And at the end of the day, is it our fault that they haven't dropped any points? I don't think so. I think, like as you said earlier on, is the league that poor that, there's only two teams that really genuinely can win the league, and that's Arsenal and Man City. So these other teams have got to up their games, haven't they? Like, you know what I mean? As you said, like Manchester United, it's the worst Manchester United team I can ever remember, Dan, if I'll be honest. Chelsea not been great over the last since Abramovich come in. It's the worst Chelsea teams that I've seen. So yeah, that's what I take from it. And I'm going to enjoy it this week. Whatever happens, just enjoy it. There's nothing we can do about it until Sunday again. But I'm proud of the team. We got ourselves to the last game of the season.
Facts. Let me tell you where I disagree slightly and where I agree. I agree with a lot of it. It's hard to improve, you said. The only way or reason I'll disagree with that is because we've got to do better in domestic cups next year for me. We can't keep getting dumped.
Oh, yes. Great. Totally great. Yep.
I think Champions League wanted to go further, but fair play. They nearly knocked Real Madrid out by Munich. Only just lost to them. Real Madrid only just beat them. I think when you look at the league, taking Manchester City to the last game of the season, But when you go out of the Carabao Cup to West Ham and the first round of the FA Cup again, it's since we've won that FA Cup under Mikel, he's had a terrible record. And the Carabao Cup has never been taken seriously. I don't know why. I understand some people don't like it. But for me, 30 years it's been now, or 31 years now, since we last won that. Same in the European trophy. So that's too long. 20 years is too long for Arsenal to win of our stature to win a league. And 30 years without a European trophy or a League Cup is too long as well, as far as I'm concerned. So that needs to change, Lee. I think next season we need to take that more seriously. In terms of the league, though, I don't think there is much more that we can do other than mentally learn, develop, and add to the squad. And I think we've spoken about that already. I will say that when we've gone to the away grounds this season, we've not quite been able to get across the line, and we have walked away disappointed, particularly at Villa Park, St James's Park. Obviously, Fulham was disappointing. But really, the one that does frustrate me is the one right between that Bayern Munich game, Aston Villa. And I don't think we dealt with that well.
Yeah.
I think he tried to get a little bit clever with it, dropped Havertz back in the midfield for a couple of games, and we went out to Bayern and we lost to Villa. Wrong thing to do, to be fair. So I hope he learns from that, and I hope the squad learn from that. Mentally, I do think there's some question marks still. A lot of the rivals are questioning that. Oh, they won't get over the line. Oh, they won't do that. Arteta's not done it yet, blah, blah, blah. That's what we've got to shut people up with is, here you go. There's a fucking trophy. Shut up now. That's what I want to see next season for me, lifting something. Because there will always be that certain section of the Arsenal fan base and obviously rival fans that will go, well, what's he won then? What's he won then? Shut people up. Win something. That's what happens next. You win something next year. Whether it's a League Cup, FA Cup, you win something and then you move forward because Arsenal's always been about winning. And that's where I'm at. Listen, people, Football Prizes is back.
They are back.
Football Prizes is back with a bang this time as well. I think everybody will be very interested in this. Lee, over to you.
Well, what can I say? Like, you know, the competition this week and the prize is a 22 or 23 to 24 squad signed frame shirt. So that's the whole of this season's squad signed shirt. You know, and if it, well, I think it'd be priceless if we win on the league on Sunday. It could be the championship winning side, which would be unbelievable. It's an incredible prize. Now it's only $3.95 to get your ticket on this night, you know, and there's some instant prizes as well, including memorabilia from Declan Rice, Shinchenko, and William Saliba. But listen, the framed shirt, home shirt that is, of all the 23-24 squad, that's this season's squad, for $3.95. I think it's an unbelievable prize. And let me just say, I think it's the 31st. I think it's on there. Is it the 31st or 21st? Sorry, 21st of May that finishes. So you've still got a few days to get that done. But listen, having that on your wall or in your office or in your studio or whatever, well, your bedroom, you can have it in bed with you if you want. You know what I mean? But what an unbelievable prize that is.
Absolutely. Make sure you're in with it, people. Footballprizes.co.uk. Whack it in now. $3.95. It's an absolute bargain. Make sure you're there. And it ain't just that. Obviously, you can go to their website and see all of their prizes. If you're not an Arsenal fan, because I know we've got some people that listen to us who are not Gooners, they've got all memorabilia of all football clubs. So make sure that you're in it to win it. Lee, I've really enjoyed this chat. It's been great to speak to you, mate.
Yeah, I loved it. Loved it.
It's been quality. Just quickly before we do wrap up, you bumped into a few famous faces yesterday, which made the day a little bit more.
Yeah, I did, and I'll tell you, I bumped into yesterday Ryan Rocastle and Janet Rocastle. Now, Janet is obviously like wife of David Rocastle, and obviously Ryan's the son. What an unbelievable family they are! So lovely to see and talk to them and all that, like, you know. And it's fantastic that, you know, that they've gone all the way up to Manchester to follow the Arsenal, like, you know what I mean? And you know, like Ryan's a massive Arsenal fan, like, you know, if no one knows, you know, so it just shows you, like, lovely people, and what a footballer he was, and it was just so sort of like every time I see him, it's a privilege to see him. Like, you know what I mean? Because he meant so much to every Arsenal fan of my generation and whatever. Like, you know, and yeah, so very, very special couple of minutes speaking to them. Like, you know.
Absolutely, man. It has to be said. I've spoken to Ryan before. What an absolutely lovely guy.
Yeah,
Absolutely
lovely.
lovely. And yeah, great family, wonderful, wonderful family. And big up to them, and big up to you, Lee. Listen, we're going to get out of here, people. Do me a favor. Make sure you do two things. Make sure you hit the like button because it's free. Make sure you hit the subscribe button because it's free. A lot of people think it's not, by the way. I've had so many people that say, "Oh, I would subscribe, but I ain't got any money." Doesn't cost a penny. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe. We're on our way to 40k, which is amazing. So please make sure that you help get us there, and smash a like as you leave. The other thing I'd love you to do at 6 p.m, I have got a show with the boys on the Race for Europe show, and it's going to be a classic. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a very, very big surprise at the start. So make sure you come over to Football's 12th Man at 6 p.m. and tune in. That's all I'm saying. Lee, I'll let you see us out, mate. Big up to everyone.
Listen, guys, thanks for all the support this season so far. One game to go. Let's see if we can get it home. Have a fantastic night tonight. We are Scousers tonight. Remember that, like, come on, Liverpool. And listen, if at the end of the day, Aston Villa get nothing against Aston Villa, we just want, you know, like, to see Tottenham going. If you go and do the business against Crystal Palace, you go and do the business against Crystal Palace. And whatever you do tomorrow, it's no right, there's no wrong in how you want to watch that game and support it and whatever. But let's just hope that Spurs can do us a favour and we can be friends, because that's what football should be. We should all be friends and live as one. Have a good night.